There is so much happening in Asian football in this October window. We got round 4 of World Cup qualifiers. We got a bunch of really awesome friendlies. And then on top of that, we have the 2027 Asian Cup qualifiers all happening at the same time. And so I thought it would be a great idea to sit down and make one behemoth video covering everything in the AFC in October. It is a daunting task. It did take some preparation time. I would appreciate it if you guys smash the like button. And if you want to see more videos about Asian football, please make sure you are subscribed, because I will be doing a watch along for some of these games. I'm going to start with the friendlies, then we're going to do the Asian Cup qualifiers in the second half of this video, okay? No, I'm not dropping the timestamp down below. Stop being lazy. Either watch the entire video or just mouse ahead. It's really not that hard. Put in a little bit of effort. Now, I know some people will say, Jack, okay, we got friendlies in the first half. We got Asian Cup qualifiers in the second. What about round 4? Well, I'm actually going to do round 4 in a totally separate video, because I don't want this to be an hour long. I don't want this to look like Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers. Some of you guys probably want it to be as long as Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers, but I'm just not going to do that. So round 4 will be a separate video. I've already dropped an hour-long video talking about every team in round 4. So the Asian streets are eating, okay? Don't say I don't take care of y'all, but my official predictions will be in a separate video. So again, hit subscribe. Now, the first team I'm going to start with is Australia. And am I starting with Australia because I wanted to go in alphabetical order? No. I picked Australia because I would like to announce early in this video that I'm doing a live watch along for Canada versus Australia on the channel. And I'm very excited for this game, and I'm very scared that I'm telling you guys and voicing my excitement for this game, because every single Australian watch along I've ever done on the channel has been the most diabolical football I've ever been forced to watch. And the stream has been dead, and me and the chat devolve into talking about, greatest generals in history or something. It's really not always fun, but I'm hoping this time it's different. I'm hoping that, 5th Australia watch along on the channel, this time it'll be a great game. And I think it will be a great game. And I think this is a great window for Australia, because you got games against Canada away and then against the U.S. men's national team away. These are big tests. I think in September, playing New Zealand twice, beating New Zealand twice, it's fun, it's cute, it's a rivalry. I get it. You're not learning anything by beating New Zealand. You are actually going to learn something in this window from Australia by playing 2 of the 3 hosts of the next World Cup in the venues in which the World Cup is going to take place, I think. I don't know where the U.S. game is. I think it's Colorado. Maybe that's not actually a stadium. My point is, it's away in the United States against the future host, okay? For the fact checkers down below in the comments, they're like, actually, no games are in Colorado. Whatever. You get my point. It's an away game in the States, bro. You guys know that I cover mainly AFC and CONCACAF on the channel, and whenever we get an AFC versus CONCACAF duel, I'm all in. I mean, last window, we covered both of the Korea and Japan friendlies extensively. Those games were actually pretty good. We'll see if Australia can give us something better here today. Canada are 26th in the FIFA rankings. Australia are 25th. I'm not sure if a result in this game could shift the pots at all, but that's just something to keep in mind. This Canadian team under Jesse Marsch, their trademark is a intense press and just honestly keeping the pressure on the opposition as long as they can. Sometimes they burn out, and sometimes that strategy bites them in the butt. I don't think that's very important for this video or for this game. I just want to see how Australia handle that. In the second game against the U.S. men's national team, that game is in Colorado, should be absolutely beautiful weather. And this is a big game for me personally, because I've always had this theory about Australia and the U.S. men's national team, where I look at the current Australia team and I feel like it embodies everything that used to make the U.S. men's national team great. Am I saying make the U.S. men's national team great again? Maybe. But I think the grit and the physicality of Australia is something that makes them formidable against any single opponent. And this is why I kind of have them circled as a dark horse for the next World Cup. Not because Irakunda and Traore are going to score 3 goals a game, en route to a quarterfinals appearance, but because Australia keep it tight every single game. It's very hard to beat Australia. It's very hard to beat them by multiple goals. It almost never happens. And I think they do that on the back of not being extremely talented. They do it on the back of being extremely well organized and disciplined, and they're just dogs. The best athletes in Asia come from Australia. It's not even close. And now they're going up against an evolved U.S. men's national team, an advanced, and I will put that in quotation marks, an advanced U.S. men's national team that is now more reliant on technicality, a little bit more on fancier tactics. And I just want to see what ends up coming out on top. Is it the old U.S. men's national team formula that I think Australia has right now, or is it this more Europeanized style of play. That's like a mini narrative I have bookmarked for this game, and that's why I'm excited for it. I don't think I'll be able to go live for this one, but Aussies, I will be giving you the Canada game. My score predictions here. And you guys, as I go through these, let me know your score predictions down below in the comments. I think a draw is the safe bet. But actually, and maybe shockingly, I think Canada is going to win this game. I think that Canada are a very, very good home side. And I just feel like Tony Popovich is going to have a bit of a stinker in this one. I feel like he's going to play a more adventurous, more offensive-looking team in the U.S. men's national team game. That's what I'm predicting, and he's going to go more conservative against Canada. And I think that would be a mistake. I think to beat Canada, you kind of want to go at them. I don't think you want to sit back and be some counterattacking set-piece team. I don't think that's the way to beat the Canadians. So I'm actually seeing like a 1-0 victory for Canada, of course. You know, on the live stream itself, I'll see the lineups and I'll give an updated score, but that's what I think is going to happen. And in the U.S. men's national team, I really think that a 1-1 draw is like safe money here. But I kind of want to be a bit spicier if picking Canada isn't already spicy enough. And I kind of want to say Australia take this by 1 goal. I kind of feel like the grit and the passion is going to overcome the fancier, you know, the nice makeup, the European makeup and the European dress. I kind of feel like that's what's going to go down here. But again, I'm very excited for both of these. Moving on, next team to talk about, Jordan. Jordan is very exciting. They'll be playing Bolivia in Turkey in the first game. And fun fact, this is only Jordan's 6th ever game against a South American team. They had 1 victory all time. Do you guys remember that game? Do you guys know who that victory was against? I'll give you a second. Okay, time's up. It was against Ecuador in 2004. So they can make it 2 victories here if they get the job done. And I'll keep it concise. I think Jordan must win this game. I think it would be very damaging to both Jordan's reputation and also Asia's reputation if Jordan lose to the biggest home merchants in the world of football, a Bolivian team that whenever they have to leave the heights of the Bolivian mountains, they are frequently ravaged for minimum 3 goals per game. This is a terrible defensive team away from home. Jordan's attack, I still think, is top 3 in Asia. I would put it at 3rd behind Japan and Iran. And I think they should be trying to get something here. And I'll be very disappointed if Bolivia keep a clean sheet. That would be, it would just leave a terrible taste in my mouth. I'd have to go brush my teeth if that was the result here. And I am going to back Jordan. But I also want to talk about the second game here, which is really, really interesting. Jordan will be traveling away to Albania. And can we just smash the like button for the Jordan FA getting a little creative here? I mean, they got Russia, Dominican Republic, Bolivia, and Albania. Are they amazing opponents? No, not necessarily. I think Russia and Albania are strong, and the Dominican Republic posed a interesting challenge for Jordan. But I like that they're thinking outside of the box here. And I don't know who their final friendly opponents are going to be. I think they do need one gigante. They need one big team. We'll talk about Uzbekistan later. They're playing Uruguay. I think a Jordan-Uruguay game would be phenomenal. You know, if the last window could be Uruguay and then maybe some African team. That's you know, when qualifiers are already concluded, or maybe a Uruguay and somebody like a Colombia. That would be, I mean, that'd be the greatest friendly window in Jordan history. But yeah, this Albania game, I digress. This Albania game is very interesting because they have a critical World Cup qualifier against Serbia right before this. Because of that, and because they are very much alive but fighting. They're in the trenches of World Cup qualifying right now. I think they will rotate. And even though this game is in Albania, I think this is another opportunity for Jordan to take down a European opponent. And we had some European friendlies before the last Asian Cup, and Jordan were getting murdered. I don't think that's going to happen this time. I am expecting an improved result based on how much better this team has gotten in the last 3 years. So my score predictions for Jordan, I'm going to go for the Bolivia game. I need to see a Jordan 2-0. I need to see a 2-goal victory for Jordan. I don't care that Yazan Al-Naimat is out of form. I don't care that, this game is not happening in Amman. I don't want to hear an excuse about the sun being too bright in Ankara or wherever the hell this game is taking place. It's probably not Ankara. It's probably Istanbul. Jordan need to win this one by 2 goals. And so that's what I'm going to say here. And then Albania, I actually think Jordan's going to win this game too. I'm going to go with a 1-0 here away in Albania. I'm expecting Albania to rotate. I hope that Jordan do not because, frankly, they don't have the depth pieces to even experiment with that. They don't have the luxury of being able to run these experiments. I think they're going to get it done, though. Maybe a 2-1 against Albania, something like that. But I am expecting a victory. Very quickly, let's talk about Bahrain, because I said I was going to talk about everybody. And Bahrain does have a very interesting friendly against Morocco away in Rabat. 2 meetings all time, 2 wins for Morocco. Last meeting was at the 2012 Arab Cup. And I will be covering the Arab Cup here on the channel, so again, hit subscribe for that. Now, Bahrain, if we're going to talk about Asian teams in free fall right now, is there one in free fall more than Bahrain right now? Comment down below. I think they're the most panic mode of the non-tiny minnow teams in the AFC. I mean, if you look at their record, they have not won a game since January. That was the Gulf Cup. And outside of the Gulf Cup, which is a non-official non-FIFA tournament, they haven't won since September 5th. They haven't won in over a year. This is not a good situation for Bahrain right now. This is their only friendly this window that I know of. Maybe another one will be announced. Uzbekistan did announce a game literally today, so I don't think the schedule is completely finalized for all the AFC teams. You know, Asian teams love to leave it to the last second anyways to do anything. Bahrain could really do with a good performance here. Like, if they have an admirable defeat, like 2-1 or 3, maybe like a 3-1, but Hakimi scores a golazo free kick or something, I think they walk away from this largely unscathed. But Talajic is really up against it now. And I also want to ask you guys, like, does he survive until the Asian Cup? Does Dragan Talajic make it to the 2027 Asian Cup? Let me know down below in the comments, because if you look at his record, if you remove the Gulf Cup, he has 3 wins out of 16 games with Bahrain. I mean, this is bad, and this is a really difficult. You're talking about a tune-up game to the AFCON away in Morocco. Godspeed to Bahrain. They're really going to need it. Okay, Japan and South Korea. We'll do these at the same time. I'm sure the Japanese and Koreans would love to be grouped together, as I'm doing right now. But the reason I'm doing that is because Japan will play Paraguay first, Korea will play Brazil, and then they're going to swap. So Paraguay and Brazil are coming to East Asia for an East Asian tour to take on the Asian Giants. I'll start with Japan first, and they're playing Paraguay in their first game. They have 4 straight victories against Paraguay, which is pretty crazy that an Asian team has 4 straight wins against a South American opponent. I mean, that normally would be a pretty good thing to brag on. Paraguay have not beaten Japan since 2010. Unfortunately, that was the 2010 World Cup, when Paraguay beat Japan on penalties. So the only game that Paraguay's won is the game that matters. They also beat Japan in the Copa America. So the 2 official meetings all time, Paraguay have won both. So classic Japan. When the game actually matters, they do nothing and just kind of crumble under the pressure. Look, I cover CONMEBOL quite a bit on the channel. I think Paraguay are one of the most informed national teams in the world. They are very strong defensively, and they are very scary from set pieces. And I don't think defending set pieces are necessarily a specialty of the Japanese national team. That being said, Paraguay's record away from home is okay. It's not bad. They very rarely lose away from home. It's extremely difficult to beat this team, but they don't have a good away victory to speak of. And I think taking down Japan and giving them an L in Tokyo or in wherever this game is being played, that would be a really good result for Paraguay and pretty embarrassing for Japan. So they must avoid a defeat in this game. The second game is against Brazil, and Brazil have historically owned Japan. There's really no other way to describe it. 13 meetings all time, 11 defeats against Brazil. The Samurai Blue have 0 wins. They have never beaten Brazil. Maybe the 14th time will be a charm. Now, the last game between these two sides was before the 2022 World Cup. I was very excited for this game. I believe it was also when Paraguay came over, or maybe it was Brazil and Colombia, Brazil and Uruguay. I think it was Brazil and Paraguay. I think it was the same window before the last World Cup. And Japan actually had a very valiant defeat, 1-0 against an informed Brazil team. And I think most people were walking away from it saying that was actually a pretty good result. But this time around, I think Japan need to be thinking that they're going to win. Like, I'm so done with the underdog narrative for Japan. You're not an underdog anymore. You're playing the worst Brazil team that has been seen this century at home, still missing star players. I think Japan must be going for the victory, and they have to be feeling good. I'm not predicting that they'll win. I'm just not don't pretend like you're Thailand. You're not Thailand. You're not Bahrain. You're not Jordan. So stop acting like it. You need to start having some balls against these bigger opposition teams and saying, no, we're going to beat them 2-0. We're going to make a statement here. Because that's really what Japan has to do this window, is make a statement. Japan must get a win in this window. If they beat Paraguay and lose to Brazil, I will count that as a dub. It is a dub, and we can move on. But if this is a 1-point window or less, or a 0-point window, Oh my gosh. I mean, Moriyasu, fraud confirmed. He's already been a fraud, but it's just like, how many more data points do we need to say? How much longer can he keep getting away with this? They absolutely must win one of these games. I think 0 wins, and you got to be panicking. You have to be panicking at that point. Not only is the defense still decimated, I mean, they still got Watanabe and Kotakura's back in the squad. So there's enough there to have some sort of a foundation. I'm not having the injury excuse here for Japan, especially with Brazil having some injuries as well. But we would be going back to last October now. We're going back to a year of just mediocrity, ugliness from Japan. I would be ringing the alarm bells if they don't win a game. And for these are just friendly simps in the comments, you are mentally weak, and this is why you're not a winner. So have higher standards for your country, have higher standards for your national team, and maybe you'd actually win an Asian Cup again. So my predictions for Japan, I hate doing Japan predictions because I don't know what Moriyasu's going to do, y'all. I don't know if he's going to start Yuki Soma in one of these games. I really don't. Is he going to drop Zion Suzuki again? Is he going to drop his 23-year-old goalkeeper for another young goalkeeper? I don't know what he's going to do. All right, but I'm just going to say, because I'm selling a lot of Japan stock right now, that Brazil win. I'm going to go by 2 goals. I do think it's going to be a bit more of a statement from Brazil than people are expecting. And in the Paraguay game, god damn, this one is impossible. Impossible to predict. I'm going to go 1-1 draw. I don't rate Japan's mentality right now. I rate Paraguay's mentality. But Japan should be the one to eke it out 2-1 because I don't think Julio Enciso is going to be called up for Paraguay, and he is instrumental with how they want to attack going forward. So if they can keep Paraguay from scoring a set piece, I think Japan win it. I'll even go 2-1 just because I do love Japan. I want them to be successful, but I'm not feeling particularly great about this window. Let's do South Korea now, and they do have Brazil first, and then they're going to switch. And I want to say I'm going to try to do a watch-along for Korea versus Brazil. I'm going to do everything I can to go live for this game. I just need to find a stream in Argentina that shows the game. If I do, I will be live. So again, hit subscribe. But my objective for Korea is very simple, and that's get some honor back. I think if you look at the last meeting between these two teams at the World Cup, when Brazil mollywopped South Korea 4-1 in the round of 16, it was an embarrassment. It was the most one-sided round of 16 game. It was a really, really bad look for South Korea, and I think it was a terrible end to Paulo Bento's tenure. I think it was so bad that, well, I think Paulo Bento is extremely overrated. I think what he did with South Korea was extremely overrated. I think he's an average manager. I don't know why Koreans love him so much. I mean, he beat a Portugal B team, and that took y'all to the World Cup group stage, and then he made you guys get embarrassed. So I don't really know why you like Bento. Maybe he talked nice in press conferences or something, but anyways, I think he's mid. That was a really bad ending to the Bento saga. And I think South Korea are much better than a 4-1 beatdown against Brazil. I think that result did them dirty. And I think the objective should be to show Brazil that, nah, you're not actually that much better than us. We're going to give you a game, and we're going to make you guys walk out of Seoul and be like, damn, is this the same South Korea we just played? Because they seem like they've leveled up a little bit. That's really what I want to see. I want to see South Korea level up. And for CONMEBOL, the manager, they're saying you're washed. They're saying that you're the one holding the team back. They're saying that you're a dinosaur. Time to shut them up. Shut up all the haters. Make all of them cry in this game. If you get a result against Brazil, then I think if you are a CONMEBOL hater, and there are so many out there, you have to give this man respect. You have to, because y'all thought you were going to get your asses kicked against the United States and Mexico. Well, how did that go? How did that go? I think Korea walked out of there looking pretty freaking good. But y'all still coming up with excuses to not give CONMEBOL credit for what he's doing with his team. I mean, again, let's compare it to Paulo Bento. Not only did Paulo Bento lose 4-1 against Brazil at the World Cup, but in a friendly before that, they beat y'all 5-1 in your backyard. The same team that then went and struggled against Japan and beat them 1-0. I'm not going to say struggled. It was pretty controlling by Brazil, but Japan lose 1-0 and you lose 5-1 at home in your own backyard. If CONMEBOL gets a draw in this game, you guys have to give him credit. Or I'm going to start getting pissed. Because at that point, it's just hate. You just don't like him. And it's like a legend of the national team, too. Like, goddamn, get over yourself. It would be a great result for CONMEBOL. After the Brazil game, Korea had Paraguay. And funny enough, Paraguay haven't beaten South Korea since the 80s. which is insane. Korea really do everything but win Asian Cups. Like, if you just look at the record, you look at the youth tournaments, you look at head-to-heads, they're pretty respectable to good in, like, every single department. It's just they cannot win the Asian Cup. It is crazy to me. But I think Korea should win this game. And I'm more bullish on Korea to win than I am on Japan. I think that South Korea is going to see a Paraguayan team that is going to sit back and just lock it up. And I think South Korea have better players to operate in tight spaces than Japan. I think Hwang In will be returning to the team. Him and Lee Gang-in, I think, are going to do damage against Paraguay. And that is why I'm expecting a 3 points here from the South Korean national team. For the Brazil game, God, do I call a freaking draw here? That would be insane. If Korea get a draw here against Brazil, that would be insane. And you know what? I'm going to call it. I'm going to call a 2-2 draw, South Korea and Brazil. Y'all can get mad. And in the Paraguay game, I think Korea's going to win by 1. I don't know if it's going to be a 1-0 or a 2-1, but I think that Korea is going to walk out of here with a 4-point window, man. I really do. Next team, Iran. Okay, so the first game, they're going to travel to Volgograd. Volgograd. What a name. Volgograd. Volgograd. To take on the Russians. A team that they also played in 2023 in a friendly, and that was a 1-1 draw. I think Iran were definitely the better team, though, in that game, and probably deserved to win. These games are always close between Iran and Russia, and I don't think this one is going to be any different. I really don't think Iran's going to embarrass themselves here in this window, y'all. I don't. I think that Emi's back to playing regular footy. He's doing great in Olympiacos. Sardar Azman's returned as well. The attack is still great. The defense is what it is, but I think the most important players for this team are playing again. They are, I'm not going to say all in form, but they're available, which I think is important for Iran. I'm not comfortable saying this is going to be a classic, or like one of the greatest Iran performances ever, but I do think this is going to be a competitive spectacle. And in the second match, Iran are going to take on Tanzania in Dubai. They were supposed to take on Chile, but then that changed, and I'm not really sure why. Guys, I know nothing about Tanzania. I don't know how to give you a scouting report. All I know is that Iran should win this game. Tanzania are still playing in World Cup qualification, just like Albania are in UEFA, but they're already eliminated because they're at best they're going to finish as the second best team, but they don't have the points to qualify for the next round. So they're essentially eliminated. Their last World Cup qualifier is a formality. And for that reason, I think they will take this Iran friendly pretty seriously versus Albania, who are, still in the fight. Iran do have a good record against African teams all time, and I think that in this game, they should be adding one more win to their catalog. In the Russian game, I think it's going to be another draw, most likely. I'm going to go with a 1-1. And in the Tanzania match, I'm kind of feeling a 2-1. I don't know if Team Melli's going to get a clean sheet this window. They should against Tanzania. But I feel like they're going to concede in both games. But I do see them making it out of here with 4 points. Last friendly here, Uzbekistan. Now, they were originally going to have one game. I told you guys they added another friendly to the schedule this morning as I was concluding my preparation. So shout out to the Uzbek FA for making me take extra time. They're going to be playing Kuwait. They're going to be playing Kuwait now in the Olympic Stadium, and I think this is an exciting addition. I think Kuwait were a team in round 3 that surprised everybody. I do not think this is a trash friendly. I think this is going to be good quality, and I think it's going to be really interesting this window to see how Uzbekistan respond after winning a trophy, after winning the CONCACAF Cup. A CONCACAF Cup and a trophy that no one seemed to give a damn about, that nobody seemed to be really happy with. That everybody was mad at Kapadze and not the players for being ass cheeks half the time. It was an interesting situation, and I think Uzbeks, they need to get their mojo back. And I think Kuwait at home is just good enough of an opponent to give them a proper challenge, but also leave the door open for Uzbekistan to get a little bit of morale back, to get a little bit of the fun to return to the footy, because I think that left for most of the CONCACAF Cup. Now, the second game for Uzbekistan is a freaking banger. They're going to be playing Uruguay in Malaysia for some reason. But ignore the context. The battle of the U national teams, the U Clásico, the U Derby is what I'm going to start calling this one. Uruguay, Uzbekistan. This one is awesome. Now, from what I've seen on the ground, again, I live in Argentina, for those of you who don't know, Uruguayans are laughing at this game. Uruguayans are seeing this Uzbekistan friendly, and they're saying, like, why are we playing a trash national team? Why are we playing a team that sucks? This is not World Cup preparation. These guys are beneath us. Literally, that's what the Uruguayans are saying. I mean, Uruguayans in pride, if you know, you know. You shouldn't really be that surprised. So I think this is an opportunity for Uzbekistan to shut them up. Much similar to what the Koreans are going to have to do against the Brazilians. I think the Uzbeks are going to have to do the same thing against Uruguay. Now, I kind of understand why Uruguay feel this way. Uzbekistan, they're going to be debutants at the World Cup, but they've never been there before. And in the 2 previous meetings between these 2 teams, Uruguay won both games 3-0. So Uzbekistan really haven't done anything to earn respect from Uruguay. I'm not even saying that Uruguay should respect Uzbekistan, but I think that they can earn it in this game. I think Uzbekistan should be going out there to earn the respect of a very, very good South American team, and a team that should be expecting minimum to make it out of the group stage of the next World Cup. And similar to the CONMEBOL mini narrative, I think if Uzbekistan win this game, we have to shut up about replacing Kapadze. And maybe I'll do a separate video about this. You guys let me know in the comments if you want to see that. I'm so sick of the Uzbek FA's behavior in this, treating Kapadze like not even a side chick, not even the backup, like the 5th chick on the depth chart. This is really insulting, I think, for a guy who's done well with the youth teams and who took over from Katanic and got the team to the World Cup and then won a trophy with Uzbekistan. Was it pretty? No. Was it pretty under Katanic? Hell no. The football was also dead as hell half the time. Have you guys forgotten? So I really don't like the Kapadze narrative right now. I think it is grossly, disgustingly unfair that they're trying to force him out, essentially. They're interviewing everybody to get him in, to get Kapadze out and relegate him to an assistant coach. I don't like that. My predictions for this window, I think Uzbekistan's going to beat Kuwait 2-0. Sorry to my Kuwaitis. I think it's going to be a 2-0. I'm also not convinced that Kuwait's even going to call up the full team. Kuwait, they get weird sometimes. When games don't matter, like, sometimes the stars don't show up. I don't understand why. For Uruguay, normally, no, I'll say it like this. Uzbekistan can win this game because Uruguay are a defensively solid team with a very aggressive midfield, but they can be exploited on the counterattack. And I think Uzbekistan, guys like Shamordov, Fezeleyev, could make them hurt in those situations. But there's something about the vibe around Uzbekistan right now where I felt like winning the CONCACAF Cup should have given them so much more belief. And instead, I see a little too much negativity, more so than I'm comfortable. Maybe it's because I don't speak Uzbek, so I'm not seeing all the positivity from the Uzbek-speaking Uzbek population, which is 100% of the country. I only see the, Google translated in the English coverage of the Uzbek team, but I don't like it. I feel like it's wrong. It bothers me, and so for that reason, I think Uruguay is going to win 2-1. I think they'll beat Uzbekistan. It could even be a 2-0. I just wonder how the players feel. It really I don't want to go and extrapolate on this too much, but if the players want to play for Kapadze, maybe they can make it a close game. But if they're actually encouraging him to be replaced, this could be a 2-goal, 3-goal loss against Uruguay, which would be really, really sad for Uzbekistan. It would be another case of them playing a good team outside of Asia and getting thumped. Much like when the United States didn't thump them performance-wise, but thumped them on the scoreline 3-0, and they need to start getting more really good wins. This would be a huge win for Uzbekistan, but I don't like the vibe around the team right now. So I hope I'm wrong. I hope I hope Uzbekistan win 2-0 and beat Uruguay. I would love to see Uruguay humbled, but I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I'll go live for this one too if I can find a stream. If you guys have a stream for Uzbekistan, Uruguay, please let me know in the comments. Now that we're done with the friendlies, let's talk about Asian Cup qualifiers. And rather than talk about every single game and give you guys a score prediction, I just have a couple talking points that we're going to go through. I'll start with Thailand, who have a doubleheader against Chinese Taipei. And there's no other way to say it. They must get 6 points this window. And anything less than 6 points this window, I think Ishii is sacked. Don't y'all? I don't think Ishii survives if Chinese Taipei get a victory, if they split the series with Thailand. I think he is so gone, because I think Thailand failing to qualify for the Asian Cup would be really, really embarrassing. And I think it would be the final straw for Ishii, who also did not win the AFF. And I don't care what people say. Thailand really wanted to win the AFF, and they were unable to do so. And I think the good vibes with Ishii, I feel like have worn thin, especially after the loss away to Turkmenistan, which was always going to be a difficult game. It's really difficult to play away in Ashgabat. And everybody goes there and struggles. And I think Thailand got punched in the mouth a little bit. So they're a team to watch for me. Group D, I think no matter what, is going to come down to the wire. I think something that might help Thailand is that Turkmenistan are playing Sri Lanka twice. And I think Sri Lanka are looking to be a bit better than we expected. Maybe there's an opportunity for Sri Lanka to take a draw against Turkmenistan at home. and then that would just open up everything again. But there's a lot to play for in Group D, and I think Thailand being I would say the best team that didn't qualify to round 3 of qualifying, there's a ton of pressure here, and we're seeing them not really cope with it thus far. In Group E, Syria is going to play Myanmar twice. Both of these teams are on 6 points. So this, I believe, is the only group in which the top 2 leaders are going to play each other, and this is going to decide the window, because Afghanistan and Pakistan are already out. And I think it's tragic campaigns from both of them, really pathetic showings for both teams there. And I think Syria are the heavy favorites. I think they are the better team. I would love for Myanmar to pull a shocker. Oh my gosh, Myanmar at the Asian Cup would be so freaking cool. Syria, there's some desert dogs, man. They're a tough team. I think they're going to get it done. In Group A, it feels like Tajikistan's about to wrap this up, right? They're tied on points right now with the Philippines, both on 4 points. But Tajikistan have a doubleheader with the Maldives. And even though Tajikistan have really kind of crumbled since the last Asian Cup, surely they haven't crumbled so far that they're going to freaking lose one of these games against the Maldives, right? That would be, oh my God, emergency video on the channel if something like that happened. And the Philippines have to play Timor-Leste. And I don't think they're going to beat them twice. I think Timor-Leste is going to get 1 point. And so I think Tajikistan could wrap it up here. Maybe we see chaos and maybe that final Tajikistan-Philippines game means something, but I don't think it will. In Group C, this is a massive moment for India, because I think after placing 4th place at the CAFA, which is one of their biggest achievements in years, I think they're feeling really, really good under their new manager. Unfortunately, their Asian Cup qualification started horribly. They're actually in last place right now. But they have a doubleheader against Singapore now, and it is a massive opportunity. The cool thing about Group C is that there is no amazing team, and Group C has the most parity. The bad news for the teams in Group C is there's no easy game. So even though India started off poorly, losing to Hong Kong at the death as well, almost got a pretty good result in that game, I think, they don't have any layups. There are no layups. Hong Kong is not a layup, right? Bangladesh is not a layup. Singapore is not a layup. So I think this group is just going to be a battle all the way through. To me, the biggest game to watch is going to be Hong Kong away to Bangladesh. If Hong Kong want to make consecutive Asian Cups, which would be an epic achievement for them, it would be hard to not feel really happy for Hong Kong. If they did that, they need to beat Bangladesh away. And then their destiny is firmly in their hands. And I think they have one hand on the 2027 Asian Cup, which would be really, really cool to see. Group F, Southeast Asian pit of death. Malaysia currently on 1st place with 6, Vietnam and Laos behind on 3, and Nepal at the bottom in 0. All right, everybody's looking at Malaysia. Everybody probably wants me to talk about Malaysia. I already shared my thoughts on that, so I don't feel like I need to reiterate that again. The fact of the matter is, as of today, there's still no announcement on what's going to happen in terms of Malaysia and their Asian Cup qualifiers. We don't know if they're going to get suspended. We don't know if they're going to get kicked out. We don't know if Vietnam's going to take a 3-0 default, victory for the forfeit. We have no idea. I think that Malaysia, if they're found guilty, should be kicked out. And that's not because I dislike Malaysia. I like them. It's because I want the law to be applied fairly. And if Timor-Leste is getting kicked out, Malaysia need to be kicked out. And if they're getting kicked out, then, Group F went from, one of the most epic and hostile Asian Cup qualifying groups to, Vietnam just needs to beat Nepal, and they're in. So, I guess for the sake of drama, we want Malaysia to stay in here, right? We want to see Malaysia play Vietnam on the final match day, with Vietnam needing a win to qualify for the Asian Cup and Malaysia just needing to not lose. That's the epic crap that I'm trying to look for. I'm trying to not curse. That's the epicness that I'm really looking forward to here. And if Malaysia are gone, then yeah, I guess it's a complete fumble from Vietnam if they don't qualify. And I guess Laos are still technically in it. But the only hope that they have, in my opinion, is Malaysia get kicked out. And then I think Laos could maybe do something against Nepal and Vietnam to sneak in here. But I think as of right now, it is advantage Malaysia without the FIFA, ruling on the case. But Vietnam have a doubleheader against Nepal. They absolutely must take 6 points. Them and Thailand are really up against it right now. There's no more lives. There's nothing else to make up here. You have to win these games this window. The pressure is insane. And you got to think Vietnam have enough to do it. I do think they'll take 6 points. I do think they will beat Nepal twice. I do think Vietnam are at least a respectable national team. But I don't really know what's going to happen with Malaysia. I think Malaysia beat Laos if they're allowed to play. But I don't really know how to preview the rest of this group because I don't know if Malaysia are going to be a part of it. But anyways, maybe I'll make an updated video on that when the time comes, but I think I'm going to end it there, guys. This has been a very, very long video, and I promise that I'll be back again on the channel to recap everything that happened in Asia. I'll be going live for at least one of these games, maybe a couple of them. So again, hit subscribe for that. You guys let me know what you're looking forward to the most down below in the comments, and maybe drop a hot take too. Drop a hot take prediction. Is Korea beating Brazil? Or Laos taking 6 points? Is Myanmar going to qualify for the Asian Cup? I want to hear what y'all's hot takes are down below in the comments. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you smash the like button and subscribe for more AFC content here on DeadBall TV. I appreciate you guys for watching, and I'll see y'all in the next one.